Both people.
We are now live. Give
Hey,
everybody a second. Hello. Welcome to the Nerdsters of the Universe
hey
second
there.
live stream. We are now live. Well, it wouldn't let me mute it until it started. All right, let me find my chat. Yes. All right, we'll do our best to follow through with chat. So, got anybody here yet?
There's looks like a couple people in there right now. Nobody's commented or anything yet.
I've got it on there. So, either way, I will be the first one to say I absolutely love the whole series.
I definitely liked it. It
I,
started off slow for me, but
I knew what I was coming into somewhat. I mean, I had researched it a little bit. I had read up on it, and for some reason, my brain just kept going WandaVision, so it's Wanda and Vision, Wanda and Vision. But then when I watched that first episode, I was like, it's not Wanda and Vision, it's WandaVision, like television. It's it really, the Vision was just a play on words because Vision's in it, but the focus was WandaVision. So that was something that, like I said, I'll admit I didn't catch that until the first episode. But on the first episode, I was like, I see what they're doing here, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
We all had our theories on it. A lot of people are still upset about the Mephisto theory, but you never know. You never know.
You never. They left it so wide open, anything could happen.
Yes, and I'm going to try to keep an eye on when we get more people in here, but we're going to stay up front right now. If you're, doing the replay, there are spoilers.
Yes, there are. Make that right clear. If you don't want to know, go watch it first, then come back and watch the replay because there will be spoilers here.
Yes, let's go ahead. WANDA. You're looking at the wrong thing. All right, so let me go ahead and make a banner in here. I'll just create a new folder for me. Huh? Create a banner.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Yes, series recap. Scroll across the bottom, add banner, and show. Boom. Now anyone comes in, they see spoiler alert.
There you go.
Actually, let me go ahead and edit this. Control C, Control V, Control V. Save. Show.
There you go.
That's better. They can see it now instead of it just being one little tiny one. All right. Now, 9 episodes. Everyone's has the question, are we getting a 10th episode? It was rumored. I don't think we are. They specifically said series finale as the title of the episode.
Yeah.
I don't think it left it open for a 10th episode. I think it left it open completely for,
more movies.
Strange, Multiverse of Madness. And the timing being March, usually with the way shows are now, it's not like it used to be when it was cool and we only had to wait summer to see what happened. Now we got to wait a year on all these streaming shows. It's a year until we'll get to see what happens. And I guess I'm okay with that because we got a lot of nerd stuff to watch, a lot of nerd stuff to review, and a lot of nerd stuff to show you. So, Robert, let's talk about episodes 1 and 2. We'll go back a little bit. All right, we did our first live about it, so let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about episodes 1 and 2. What were your takeaways?
I had to watch it a couple times because I started watching it. And I started having flashbacks of TV when I was younger with the Dick Van Dyke Show. And I was like, I didn't know what to think at first. I thought, okay, is this going to be like just a bunch of them two in different sitcoms? Because it didn't really give anything else. It's one of those things you really have to follow and be a really good MCU fan or want to see what's going on. because it actually took me a while to go back and then watch episode 3, 4, and 5 and all that and continue. I didn't know what to think.
Yeah, I like I said, when I was going into it, I knew it was going to be something as far as a Wanda created universe, and I wasn't sure if every episode was going to completely be that way. And even after watching episodes 1 and 2, and even after watching episode 3, I was okay with that. If it was just going to be a straight sitcom after sitcom type era, perfectly fine. But when they brought in episode 4, where it took us away from that and then bringing in all these other characters, side characters that we loved out of the MCU, I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Now it is this is starting to feel more like the MCU and not just something for our entertainment. An example of what I see is for our entertainment is the new Star Trek show Below Decks.
Yeah.
To me, that's for our entertainment. It's not something that we really need to watch to understand what's going on in the Trek universe. I'm sure there's some things in there. I'm sure it might get referenced at some point, but it's not like it's one of those you can sit back, you can watch it. If you miss a couple episodes, you can go back and watch it. You can catch an episode here, go back and watch an episode there. It's fine. We got some people coming in the chat. So again, spoiler alerts for the series, even the series finale. Mm-hmm. Hey, Deborah, how's it going? Hi, Val, you're in here. Crafts with Crashly. Oh, hi, Crashly.
Oh, there we are.
How do you mod? Where do you go?
I was missing the wrong thing here.
Click on you. Oh, here we go. Click that drop down. Add moderator.
Oh my gosh, Boom. You're so smart. You're such a nerd.
Click down. Add moderator. I can figure it out like that. All right. We should have a couple Smurfs in here now.
Yeah, you got to get McVal a Smurf. There's Crashly.
Star Trek always counts.
Always.
Not the way you spelled it, though.
Do you see my shirt?
Very nice.
She stole one of my Star Wars shirts.
We said Star Wars, but we can't do it here. I got to wait till her live.
We're a nerd live. Diamond painting.
Yes, diamond painting.
Which I almost bought a couple diamond paintings the other day because they had some Star Wars ones. They had a Grogu one, and I had Joanne's on sale, and I'm like, but I still have a hard time paying like $30 for a partial.
Oh my God! I went to Target, had diamond paintings in it.
What?
Yep, I went to Target.
Now I gotta go to Target after her hair appointment Thursday.
But I will say, I looked. They were Star Wars diamond paintings in Target. They were like a Lego type Star Wars diamond painting, but these things were $124.
You're talking about the Lego portraits. I showed Crashly those last time I was there. Oh my God, I want them so bad. But yeah, you could do 2 pictures in one.
Yeah, it looked like a diamond painting.
1 or 2, but it's basically a diamond painting, but it's done with the little Lego studs.
Oh,
it's done with the Lego stuff. So it's a pixel art like a diamond painting is, but it's a Lego style. And yeah, oh gosh, I want to get one.
I saw it and I was reaching for it. I went reaching for it. Then I saw $120-something and my hand just cramped back up. I couldn't get to it.
I was like, saw the tag. So maybe eventually. Oh yeah, maybe eventually we need to get one to do on the channel. Business.
Maybe business expense.
To go back on track.
Yeah. Episode 3 is where I knew something more was going to happen. When they had the captain on there, when she was the character, like in the Brady Bunch, where she was having the babies.
Yes.
And then who are you? What are you doing? When she said, that happened during your brother was killed by Ultron or whatever, and then she zapped her out of the room. I'm like, all right, something more is going to happen here. What's going to happen? And then I stuck to it a little more and kept going 5, 6, 7, 8.
And it's like I told some of my friends, I'm like, you got to get past. And I told them after I watched the first episode, I was like, it's an awesome show. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not a fan of old sitcoms, which I grew up on Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
I grew up on I Love Lucy. I grew up on Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie. I mean, I'll sit there and people I work with will look at me like I'm crazy because I'll be humming the theme songs to these shows.
Yeah, she even put the Brady Bunch in there for the 70s. And then Family Ties for the 80s. Family Ties.
But
I thought it was pretty good. I remember all those shows.
So I enjoyed the nostalgia factor. I liked watching certain aspects, and I'm like, I see where they got that from, and this and that. And another thing, being a nerd about that show, was to go back and pause it and look at the intros and all the little Easter eggs just in the intro. That wasn't very long. Like blinking, you miss it. Easter eggs. And luckily, we've got the internet now where you can go and see them, right after the show's done. You can be like, hey, what are the Easter eggs? And go again and see if I was right on some, if I was wrong on others. But, just overall.
Yeah,
and I told all my friends, sorry, I understand if you may not get it at first, but stick with it. It is a situation where it's going to build up. And then after episode 4 hit, I was like, if you don't want to watch the first 3 episodes, you don't have to. You can start on episode 4. It gives you a small recap. And if you want to go back and watch them, watch them. I mean, the name of the episode was previously on. So, but I love
I think the first few episodes made it, started putting the show together, because then they explained where the shows came from later on when she was in oh my God, her country, her and her brother and family came in.
Yes.
Yeah, Sokovia. Yeah. And they showed that's what they did, the bootleg tapes hidden and watching the old sitcoms and everything. So you see where they got it all from, tied that together.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the going deeper into the Age of Ultron story. And that's where I was talking about, like, if they would come out with a sequel or a prequel miniseries to Age of Ultron, that would be cool, because they could, and it wouldn't even have to be on all of it. Like, they could do it in these shows. They could throw in a little bit of history, just like they did with WandaVision.
Right.
So it's one of those situations that Age of Ultron's one of those films I went and watched in theaters, and I loved it, but I felt gypped a little bit. Like, I was wanting Age of Ultron, and I felt like I got the Ultron incident.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel like it was like it set up for the Sokovia Accords and Civil War, because it was obvious that the world had no clue the threat they were in with Ultron.
Yeah.
But that was part of, the whole Age of Ultron was he made it known who he was. He wasn't just some dude that surfed the web and took over a couple robots and then dropped a city, tried to destroy the world by dropping a city. But in the end, I love that it went back and gave more depth to the movie.
Well, that kind of gives to me, like what Crashley said here in the chat. It felt rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they rushed through it. Like, I think WandaVision was a little rushed, but they were trying to throw, if they would have brought that out about maybe 3 more episodes, the same content, about 3 more episodes, they could have did a little more, but they packed it into 9 episodes. And I think I did feel rushed. I felt very rushed through some of the episodes.
With me, I think what part of the reason WandaVision was rushed is money.
Yeah.
It is a TV series. Even though it's a limited series, it's still a TV series that is done on a very high budget. That was obviously movie budget, because Vision is a lot of CGI just in his character.
Yeah.
So every single scene that had him in his Vision outfit, and that's why if you notice, and I noticed it, and there's some scenes where he's in their house and he's wearing clothes, but he's got the Vision look.
Yeah.
If you look at his face, it doesn't have the full Vision getup and all the pieces on his face.
Right. I noticed the lines weren't really there all the time and stuff like that.
It's a lot smoother. That because a lot of those are CGI.
Yeah.
And you obviously the last few episodes they held no bars on giving it a budget. I mean, Agatha's part just immaculate. The fight scenes, all of it,
and they had all the actors in it too.
Mhm.
So they were paying some, to get the actual Agent Wu, Kat Dennings. They had all the MCU actors in there with it. So there was a budget just on the talent alone as well. Not just Wanda herself and Vision, but the background characters were from the MCU as well. So,
Yeah. And yeah, Val, I'm pretty sure like those a lot of the British TV series have started to, I feel they've started to influence our series. We had the 25 episode, 20 to 25 episode fall through summer TV series.
Yeah.
On a TV station. You had to watch commercials unless you had TiVo or recorded it and fast forwarded through it. And then you had to wait the summer. You had to wait between May and October to get them back, or May and the end of September.
Right.
But, the UK, their TV series, they were only about, even then, they were only about, 10 to 15 episodes, and you had to wait a year to get them. Sometimes you had to wait a couple of years before a new season came out. And when they went to streaming, their TV series, budget's a big part of why they aren't as long. Your television series on your broadcast TVs, they get a lot, they get their money for their ads. You get a commercial break. That pays for you to watch it. That pays for them to make it. Your streaming services, it isn't paying for you to watch. You don't have those ads popping up.
Well, some of them, you can get them with commercials or without. But that's why I think Netflix price keeps going up.
Yeah, and I don't believe Disney Plus has commercials.
I don't think so.
I haven't had it. I mean, you get like Disney Plus, Netflix, Amazon, they don't have the commercials. So their series, they're being funded solely on subscriber count.
Yeah.
And money coming in with subscribers, which in the end, it's still a cash cow. They're still getting a lot of money for it. But they can only, you look back at HBO. HBO didn't have long seasons because they were a subscriber count. Even when it was just on broadcast TV, they were subscriber count. Same thing with Stars. A lot of those seasons were only, 10 to 15 episodes long.
Yeah.
And I think when it started becoming a larger thing, you look at other things. How are other companies successful with it? And I see that there were a lot of influences in how WandaVision was done. I wasn't a big fan of the shorter episodes. The episode time, I wish there'd have been more in it. I do feel that there were they explained on it, and it was subtle explanations. Like, I could see how it could make some people still wonder what that was about.
I think they wasted a little time. Like, I'm not crazy about when shows do previously on. Like, people have watched the episode before. They've done it. Why waste an opening bit where you could throw some kind of, substance or like the meat of the show, start right off? Why do you have to give the previously on and everybody's sitting there going, I know, I saw it. Let's move on, And then, you go from one episode to the next. And it was, I can understand it, but
it was a little disappointing because, and where that was disappointing was you would look at the episode running time and it would be like, oh, this episode's 35 minutes. We're going to get a full half hour. And then there would be 5 minutes previously on and 10 minutes commercials, and we're getting, a 20-minute episode.
Yeah.
And which either way, you don't have to watch the credits, but the fact that it is a film style budget, it's going to have a lot of credits.
And a lot of the credits did have the after scenes too, some of the after stuff.
Well, once we got to episode 7.
Yeah.
So,
I think
that's what hurt a lot of people in the credits is they were wanting the end credit scenes at the beginning. So they actually sat and waited the full 7+ minutes for credits.
Yeah.
And then it didn't pay off. You get a little heated from it. But
that was like the Captain America, the Civil War ending. They have the post-credit scene on Civil War where it was Captain America just came out and said, so you waited for the end, and it's like, sometimes there's disappointment and dedication, I thought it was funny that they did it that way, but that was just me.
Yeah.
But you could see as they started to go through the different episodes with that, more was going to come.
Mhm.
but I think they started making the run times a little longer. Not drastically, but they fit more in it. Like, that, like I said, episode 3 with the 70s episode, and you knew something was going to happen. Then the next episode, 80s, when Vision's starting to maybe figure it out. And then they got off of the sitcoms altogether and did like the Halloween thing. That was my favorite when they were the classic comic book versions of themselves,
Well, and the other factor in that, and this is one of those little, this is one of those things that makes me love the show somewhat more. I love the show, but is look at when the end credit scenes show up.
Mm-hmm.
In the 50s, we didn't have end credit scenes.
Right.
In the 60s, we didn't. In the 70s, we didn't. And the end credit scenes showed up, and there were some in the 90s, but they became popular in the 2000s and later. It wasn't until that time frame in WandaVision that they showed up.
Right.
And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it was one of those situations and it because the beginning and the ending had to do with that. You started out each season or each episode had its little, the Dick Van Dyke intro. And then it ended with them looking at the camera like those episodes did. It ended with them, closing the episode, looking at the camera, and then zoom in on them.
Yeah, I know they started with end credit scenes in the 80s, but it was very few and far between.
It was very few and far between.
Yeah,
like they had them in the 80s and 90s, but they weren't. You
didn't know to expect them if you were just like Ferris Bueller. It just happened to be if you were sitting in the theater that long, and nobody really did it.
And the thing was, it wasn't an end credit scene that was pertinent to the story.
Right.
It was more of one of them I remember was Aladdin, Disney's Aladdin. At the very end of that one, it had Genie laughing.
Yeah.
And then it was the moon turned around, and it's Genie's face, and he goes, "Fooled ya!" And got you to look, stuff like that. It wasn't until I can't think of which one. I know there was a 90s one that somewhat had it, but it wasn't until they hit a point where they absolutely knew they'd be making sequels to it.
Yeah.
That they started doing the end credit scenes. And I liked how the show went with that.
Yeah.
But just the little nods, the little Sparky, which is Vision's dog from the comic book. The costumes. Everyone knew Agnes was Agatha Harkness. That was one thing that everyone knew from the beginning. Not everyone, but a lot of people.
A lot of people, I think the more diehard fans kind of figured it out a little bit because they showed her in every episode. They showed her giving little winks and nudges and, when she was having the conversation with the other neighbor at the fence. We don't do that. We don't talk about, just kind of like be quiet. And even Vision was trying to figure it out, but you knew something was up with that.
And yeah, they were more focusing it on the multiverse of madness. That was one thing that they had said. I'm going to Crashley's comment here. That is one thing that they had said was that this is going to be a prelude to the movies to come. And she actually, the person said she had a question. So what was your question?
Why did everyone make it a big deal when she called her the Scarlet Witch? Was she not the Scarlet Witch in the Marvel movie?
Out of the MCU movies, they never gave her a nickname. The only time she was referred to as any kind of nickname was when, as far as her actual, being the Scarlet Witch in the comics, was when Iron Man called her a witch.
So they just called her.
They just called her Wanda. They didn't really give her, her alter ego of being the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, that set it up for the whole Scarlet Witch later.
It's just like Pietro was never referred to as Quicksilver.
No, that was his comic book name from later on.
Yeah, well, another big part of that is when Wanda and Pietro were introduced into the MCU, Fox was not owned by Disney.
Right.
Fox owned the rights to the character names, the movie rights to the character names Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Right.
It was a deal they had made to be able to use the characters. Okay. And I honestly, at the time, I don't think Marvel really had a lot of I don't think they had a lot of confidence in how those two characters would be completely received, being their connection to the X-Men universe.
Yeah.
Because it felt going back to Age of Ultron, they felt sort of throwaway, and I think that's part of why they killed Pietro at the end of Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
and Wanda was just touched upon and everything, but she became a favorite, and I mean the way that she is portrayed in the MCU is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, the name left my head. Olsen, what first name?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen just blew it away, blew it out of the water. So, I was trying to keep up on the comments.
Yes, I was
diamond painting.
I think they made them originally to be possibly throwaway characters, just in case. And then Vision went really well, and then Scarlet Witch, Wanda went really well. And they finally got to use Scarlet Witch, and then they did the outfit and the whole, back to the comic books.
Yeah, and what it boiled down to is you can't have Ultron without Vision.
Right.
And you can't have Vision without Scarlet Witch.
Right. With the Soul Stone.
And they were able to merge those in there. And Paul Bettany as Vision is... I've been a fan of his since I saw him in A Knight's Tale years ago. You ever watch that movie, A Knight's Tale?
It sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
Heath Ledger, Paul Bettany. What's his name? He's in huge nerd actor. He's in Firefly. He was the pilot in Firefly. He was Mr. Nobody in.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, he is them two, and then the guy who played Robert Baratheon in Game of Thrones.
You know what? That's the one thing I have to watch. I have never watched Game of Thrones. I've watched one episode of Game of Thrones, and I was ready to turn in my nerd card for that almost. Someone said, "Here, check out this episode," and it was the Red Wedding episode that I saw.
Oh,
so I'm thinking this looks like it might be pretty cool, but I have to start from the beginning and watch it and see how it goes. But everybody's like, "You've never watched Game of Thrones?" I'm like, never. I watched one episode of The Walking Dead too, and I really wasn't a crazy fan about that either. But,
Mephisto does show up apparently, because Mephisto just showed up. Hello, Mephisto.
Hello there.
Welcome to the White Vision.
That's another story. Well, yeah, in the comics he goes off on his own for a while too. So it's not like he needed to go to Wanda. I mean, he's got some stuff he's got to work out.
Yeah. We got an idea. It's Mephisto. We were talking about that, where I thought it was going to be Mephisto, but they left it open, and there's a lot of internet talk now about her location after the end credits scene at the very end of 9, that they're saying that could still be a possibility.
It's going to be a possibility as long as Marvel is not afraid of using the character.
Right.
I mean, in the comics, the twins' souls were part of Mephisto. And just because she allowed her bubble to collapse and it took the bodies away, the souls can still exist because they're shards of it. And, and then there's the other aspect. Maybe she's tapping into a multiverse. I mean, she's got the Darkhold. She's got, she's more powerful than Doctor Strange, obviously. She can astral project out of her body and still control her body, where Doctor Strange just has to lay there. So, and he was able to jump dimensions. That was a big story of the first Doctor Strange movie. So it's highly possible she could be hearing a call from the twins in another dimension. Enter Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
But, there were a lot of Mephisto Easter eggs. A lot of them.
Right.
Basically,
To answer Crashly's question, will Billy and Tommy be brought back? They did it kind of in the comic books a little bit, but it's kind of one of them arcs that goes back and forth. Well, depending on what dimension she's in, of where she's, where the episode went to, or should I say the story in the comic book went to. But they didn't leave it so that they couldn't be back. I noticed they had stuff at the end credit in her cabin. It looked like some kids' stuff. Although they didn't show them, they showed stuff that could be kids' stuff in the background. Mm-hmm. So they left that open too. And I think, waiting for Doctor Strange, is going to be a big one. And then where they're going to go from there, even if that has anything to do with the new Thor coming out with, I don't know why I can't remember the girl's name.
Natalie Portman?
Yeah. I want to call her Padme all the time.
I honestly hope Thor stays in space for the next one.
Well, they already have her as Padme's going to be the new Thor.
Yeah, but I'm saying I hope Thor Love and Thunder helps build more of the Marvel space universe. I know we've got the Eternals coming out in less than a year. Does it come out this fall? Can't remember.
I think fall, like September or October, somewhere around there.
I know we got Spider-Man No Way Home coming out in December.
Yeah,
Black Widow, they're still pushing for a early summer release on it, and I think Eternals is supposed to be coming out in fall. And they need to build more on their space, their space universe. And I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the way it's made. Can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm cringing at the holiday special just because we all know how holiday specials of awesome nerd movies end up, especially when they're in space.
Yeah. We won't talk about the 1981 Star Wars
1977
special,
It was 77 or 78 Star Wars holiday special. It was before any of them.
It was after Empire Strikes Back.
No, it was before Empire.
I thought it was after.
Nope, it was before Empire. It was the legitimate first appearance of Boba Fett.
That's right.
But
I just couldn't even. We have that on DVD. Val found it online and burned it onto DVD for me, and I just sat there like this the whole time.
It's out there. I've watched it a couple times. It made the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special more enjoyable because they make fun of it so many times.
I know, I love that.
But I really hope Thor: Love and Thunder allows more of a space build up, because that was one thing that somewhat separated. Like, it didn't separate me completely from Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah,
but we had the Marvel. When it comes to the Earth Marvel universe, we've got the different story type telling. Doctor Strange is different than Iron Man. Iron Man is different than Black Panther. Black Panther was different than Thor. Those movies were different. Incredible Hulk was different. They had a different style. But when you brought them together, it merged.
Yeah.
And everything. And what got me was when in Infinity War and Endgame, when we got those space scenes, it felt like Guardians of the Galaxy owned MCU space.
Okay.
It didn't feel like there was a larger MCU in space. It felt like Guardians of the Galaxy. And I understand why, they want to bring in that and merge it in, but it feels like if we're going to go in MCU space, we're in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And to me, that's not true, because that would be like going, if we're going to go on Earth, we're only going to be in one of those styles of the Avengers individual movies.
Right.
Iron Man or Captain America.
But one thing though, back to the chat with WandaVision, Crashly asked, did Wanda absorb the dark magic during the fight? And if so, will that have repercussions? It's not that the magic is dark magic, it's how the witch uses the magic.
It was a totally different color.
What?
Red.
Hers is like purple.
They just did that for the character to discern the two characters.
Oh, okay.
And the types that they use. The thing about like Wanda's magic is red because she's the Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
So hers is going to be red. Doctor Strange and Wong and them, theirs is yellow because that's the type of magic they were taught.
But there was a scene with her and Wanda talking where she was like, "You're using wicked magic, which has certain side effects." Like she said,
Chaos magic, not wicked magic.
Sorry, chaos.
Yeah, chaos magic.
I thought maybe that's what she used, like the bad girl.
No, and this is another situation where you get all these Mephisto, if you're still watching, or if you headed out after you said you were going to destroy the multiverse. These Mephisto things was where we knew, like, not everyone, but a lot of us knew Agnes was Agatha Harkness.
Yeah.
And those little quips in there, oh, the devil's in the details. That's not all he is.
Right.
You're Agatha Harkness. You're there, and the fact that Pietro was Agatha's lackey, and he called the kids demon spawn.
Right.
All those little ticks there, because Agatha got her amplified magic. One of the reasons she was betrayed by her coven in the MCU, I'm assuming, I think it was a little different in the comics, was because she got her amplified magic from Mephisto. It was basically the comic book version of selling your soul to the devil to get more powerful.
Right.
And so hers was a dark magic, and she could absorb magic. And you think about absorbing different colors, you get to that darker color scheme, like, and purple's a cool color.
Yeah. It just sort of went with the color scheme too. And like during the fight scenes, you couldn't just see a whole bunch of red going around or a whole bunch of purple going around.
Yeah.
So it kind of made, here's Agatha, here's this purple, here's Wanda, she's the Scarlet Witch, it's red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's also kind of for non-confusing issues as well.
And
she made it seem like that was her gift. She could absorb people's magic, but at the end, it looked like Wanda absorbed hers. So it was straight.
She was, well, it wasn't so much Wanda absorbing hers. Wanda put up the runes to keep Agatha from being able to use it. And I could see how you could get that thought that.
I mean, she was in a bubble sucking in the magic. It looked like
she was sucking in her magic. She was powering up, basically.
Oh, so she didn't. Oh.
Yeah, she's kind of absorbing the Force kind of thing.
Yeah,
like in Star Wars when Count Dooku did the Force lightning at Yoda, and he just stuck his hand up and absorbed it, and that was it, like Fizzle. That was kind of like the same thing.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Well, see. How could you live with a nerd that long and not know what I'm talking about? Come on.
What do I tell when Goku's doing the Kamehameha wave and he puts his hands up and starts absorbing the magic, absorbing the power, or if he's getting ready to do the solar, they're getting ready to do the solar flare or whatever, they absorb it and then they use it. That's what she was doing. She had made the runes, and she was inside of her. She was inside of her hexagon. So I mean, all of that magic was there for her to.
So Agatha still technically has her own magic. She's just in a psychotrance.
Yeah.
She can't use it because of the runes. Although I don't know how that's going to work.
The runes, it's not.
Force field's down.
I don't think it's that she can't use it because of the runes. I think Wanda suppressed it.
Right.
And again,
That's so confusing.
Mephisto can come out and unsuppress it.
Yeah. They just left so much open for that. There was so much Mephisto left open in these episodes. I was dying that I didn't see it.
And I truly believe that is done for a reason. And this is where Disney has either messed up or they're sitting on a close announcement that they may not hear. I don't know. I wish I was involved in them. I wish I knew what was going on. But what Marvel has done with their MCU and with WandaVision is everyone wanted the Black Widow movie. I want the Black Widow movie. I want to see the Black Widow movie. Disappointed it's a prequel. They waited too long. They sat on it too long.
Right.
We've got Captain Marvel 2 coming up. But if WandaVision tells anybody anything, I mean, come on. It crashed Disney Plus. One of the episodes when it released, episode 8, crashed Disney Plus.
Oh, with Captain what's her name? Oh Jesus.
When people went to watch it, they couldn't because so many people dialed in to watch it.
Yeah.
It shows you've got a character right there that you can make a movie with.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me feels like this was a test run.
Yeah, I think they wanted to see how people were going to accept her.
Or you know, it's like, can we accept Wanda? Is it going to feel like another one of those side characters coming out?
Right.
Can you make a Wanda movie without Vision? Everybody's going to want Vision. They're going to want to see this storyline, that storyline. How can we make a Wanda movie where Wanda is the main focus? And, you know, she's being a prominent character in Multiverse of Madness. I would not doubt it is if once they get their Fantastic Four going, once they get their X-Men, mutants, whatever they're wanting to call it,
yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it if they release that they are going to make a Wanda movie, and they've got the lineup for it. They've got the subliminal Mephisto messages in there. I mean, they've got a build up for an amazing Wanda movie.
They have the girl from the first Captain Marvel movie when she was a little girl. Captain Marvel's friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. They even gave her, it looks like she was manifesting some of Captain Marvel's powers.
Well, it wasn't Captain Marvel. That's her own power. She's had like 4 or 5 names in the Marvel universe or in the comic books. We don't know. We don't know what
something to do with her.
I think she's going to go with Spectre, maybe Spectrum might be the one they have to go with. But yeah, no, she's already been a character within. Like she actually was Captain Marvel at one point in the comics. Yes, she didn't take the name. She was going around being a hero, and the media was calling her Captain Marvel. And I think what it boiled down to was at one point while she was talking to the Thing from the Fantastic Four, he had informed her, "Oh, there was a Captain Marvel. He was a Kree, and his name was Marvel." And
she was one of the so-called the one you thought were the good guys, and they came out to be the bad guys. She was the one trying to stop the Skrull war to help the Skrulls. And
she was like, "Oh, I guess not." And he's like, "Oh, I don't think he'd mind you using it. I'm sure there's another Thing out there," you know. And then she had changed her name so many times, and I think they're going to go with Spectrum just because the way they showed her powers.
Yeah.
Like when she came through the second time, she could see all the spectrums of light. When she was looking to see who Ralph, how Ralph was being controlled, she saw the spectrum, the magical spectrum on the necklace.
Yeah.
Those situations, I think that's where they're going to go with her.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a Captain Marvel 2 situation more than likely, or Secret Invasion, given that her end credits scene is a Skrull showing up going, "Hey, Nick Fury sent me down to get you because apparently you've been grounded, so let's go to space."
Yeah.
Well,
Crashley also asked about when Agnes said she released something terrible, and that's going to have to do with the Multiverse of Madness too, because there's a prophecy where the Scarlet Witch destroys the universe, or at least destroys the world, and that's one of the things prevent the prophecy to go back and forth.
I don't foresee Agatha really showing up in Multiverse.
But she said, "You're going to come back to me for help."
I think they've set up for a straight up Scarlet Witch movie. And
I think they left it wide open. They left a lot of areas open to like go back and dip into if they wanted to, if they needed to.
Yes, and straight up for an amazing Scarlet Witch movie.
Yeah.
And and Agatha, to me, Agatha was always a throwaway character. I'm sorry. Other people
she did a good job.
No, in the show, oh my god.
In the show, perfect, yeah.
But in the comic, I always saw Agatha as an old crony, washed up witch. Yeah, she was powerful, but it was like that person that dabbled in magic and always hung around people more powerful than her. Even though she was always
like the has-been sidekick sort of that got a little bit of screen time, and that was it.
Yeah, and you really couldn't tell if she was a good guy or bad guy because she was always out for herself.
Right.
I see her coming back. I don't see her coming back in Multiverse of Madness.
No.
I see No Way Spider-Man No Way Home.
Nah.
Busting open the doors to the multiverse. So when you go into Multiverse of Madness after watching WandaVision and watching No Way Home, a lot of your perception questions have been answered. Like what's WandaVision talking about? How's she the Scarlet Witch now? That was never we got it addressed in WandaVision.
Yeah.
And
I think the only way Agnes is going to come back is if they do a Scarlet Witch movie.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be either in the very beginning or the very end. I don't think she'll have a big part in it. It'll just be more like either, yeah, do this, I can help you with this, or I told you so at the end kind of thing.
Well, see, and I think it would. Well, if they do a Scarlet Witch movie, Agnes needs to be a larger part.
You think?
And oh yeah, and if they had it as though, Mephisto and Chatan, however it's pronounced, the wonderful world of comics is when you read them as a kid, you come up with your own pronunciations. It isn't until you jump in the nerdom of talking to other people that you find out, oh, that's how it's pronounced, or the cartoons or whatever it is. But to have her come in, because she did in the comics, she did teach Wanda a lot, and it wasn't it wasn't this whole, oh, I'm going to stand back in the shadow. No, she straight up did teach her a lot of her powers. She did. Again, you didn't know if she was a good guy or bad guy. She basically was her own person. That I guess anti-hero is the best way to describe it. We went with the Dungeons and Dragons analogy and called her true neutral. Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah. If it was to her benefit, she didn't care who she burned. But if it came, if Mephisto came in and was causing problems, and she, because she got to a point where she didn't want to deal with him, it was, I'm here to help, beat him up. Let's get rid of him. But I mean, and again, in talking about characters coming back, I don't believe it's the last time we see Pietro or Ralph. I don't believe it is. I think they're going to try to. I honestly believe they're going to use him in the future. And I'm sorry, Ralph Boner, to be an actor. That was not his name.
I thought that was
stage name.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
It was a joke.
Yeah,
to me, that's a stage name. That's not his real name. That's leaving it open to find out what he is. And another thing that gets me, the other thing is WandaVision loves not only Easter eggs in the Marvel Universe, they love sci-fi Easter eggs. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest one that got me was when Monica went over him and he instantly was like, please don't kill me. Which movie is that from? It's a sci-fi movie, and the actor, starts freaking out, please don't kill me, all like, oh my gosh, and it was all an act.
I want to say Die Hard, where
there was
Gruber did it, but I know what you're talking about. Please don't kill me, please don't kill me.
I'd have to put my finger on it. Maybe I am thinking of Die Hard, I don't know, but it felt, he's an actor.
Yeah.
So it felt a little bit not genuine in a sense. And they didn't touch any more on it. It was a throwaway explanation. And I'm sorry. Marvel doesn't, I've seen so many Marvel throwaway explanations.
Yeah.
For retconning. Wanda and Pietro's powers. Throwaway explanation of how they got their powers was used for retconning to be able to give her more of a, historical, closer to the comics origin.
Well, they have strayed a lot from the original storylines of everything.
And they're going to. It's a completely different universe. If they go with the actual storyline,
they just had Wanda getting all her powers from the Soul Stone. Boom. Like, what was that, episode 6 or 7? Where Wanda got her powers more from the Soul Stone, and that was it? I thought it was something a lot different in the comic books back in the day.
You're talking about episode 8?
Was it 8? Where Agnes was showing her life and all the going through.
It didn't show that she got her powers from the Soul Stone. It showed that the Soul Stone, or it wasn't the Soul Stone, it was the Mind Stone. It showed that the Mind Stone woke up the dormant powers that were in her.
I thought that was the Soul Stone, because that's what gave Vision his power too. That's why they were connected.
It wasn't the Soul Stone; it was the Mind Stone. The Soul Stone didn't show up until Infinity War when
He threw Gamora.
Gamora was thrown down. That was the Mind
Right.
Stone. That was in the scepter
Right.
that was in the scepter.
Loki's scepter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I got
yeah,
it.
that was the Mind Stone. And basically what it was is the Mind Stone. And if you notice, they didn't show anything about the Mind Stone being used on Pietro.
No, they didn't show anything really about him.
So why not?
Hmm.
There was more they could do with that.
Yeah.
I'm saying they left things open for a reason.
Mhm.
You know, and yeah, like Val saying, comics are different than book series, and you know, making a comic into a movie is different from making a book series into a movie, because comics you already have a lot of visual. But just like any written form going into a visual form, they don't translate 100%.
Mhm.
It just doesn't. And at the same time, I think Michael Crichton put it best when he wrote the script to Jurassic Park. And he was asked in an interview at one point, why did you change it so much? And he straight up said, if you want to know how it was in the book, read the book.
Yeah.
This is a different idea of the story. It's an alternate ending type thing. If you want to know how it was in the book, read the book. It doesn't have to be word for word. I know you, Mr. Pizza, are a purist. You want that diehard.
Yeah, I want the continuity.
But it doesn't always translate well, and at the same time, things want to change up. Or, you know, I look at it like drawing a picture twice. You draw a picture the first time, and say you're an amazing artist, you draw this picture, and everyone loves it. And they buy it. They buy digital downloads. Well, you get to a point where you're drawing it again. There were flaws you saw in it, and you've become a better artist, and you want to change those flaws.
Mm-hmm.
So when you revisit it, you change it. You alter it a little bit. You had different ideas. You go with it. Sort of like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, making the web organic. That was Stan Lee's idea. He was like, you know what? Let's try. I wanted to try it when it was, it was a thought then, but they said it was too gross, so I made the web shooters. So yeah, let's make it organic now. Let's make it something he does.
Well, my whole thing with that is, I get what Michael Crichton. When I heard, as a matter of fact, I heard that interview. I read the interview, and when it's the same creator doing it a different way, like it's okay, I interpreted it this way for this genre or whatever, that's fine. But like when I start getting my panties in a twist, is when Tim Burton, who I love in his genres, but when he takes an established franchise like Dark Shadows and completely,
you're not going to let Dark Shadows go.
I'm never going to let Dark Shadows go.
You're going to hold that against him forever.
Yes, I just might. I gave him Batman because it had the dark twist to it, and I liked it. And I was glad he had sense enough to, everybody pulled out when Schumacher came in and did his little twisting.
You can let him have Batman. You can let him have Sleepy Hollow. You can let him have Dumbo. You can let him have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But when it comes to...
He's not having Dark Shadows. He's not doing
Dark Shadows. And when it comes to Planet of the Apes, he needs to not touch him, huh?
Oh, another one. Another one, he broke my heart. Now, I liked his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because that was closer to the book.
A lot closer to the book.
Yeah.
Even down to the songs.
Yep.
Even down to the songs. And yeah, Roald Dahl changed the songs, changed up the script for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, But one of those misconceptions is that he was happy with how it turned out. He was not.
He wasn't. No.
He was not happy with how it turned out. There was a lot of studio interference, and it did not turn out the way he scripted it to.
No.
But
he can get a lot from me on that, but Dark Shadows is going to be one that's going to be. I might even have it on my urn when I'm dead and cremated and hanging on the shelf. I'm going to put on there, Tim Burton still can't have Dark Shadows, right on the very bottom. It's going to be engraved. I used to love that show when I was a kid.
And that's going to be while he's making a movie of your life.
Yeah, okay. If Hollywood comes down to losing enough ideas where they're going from the fat guy from Bristol's life story, unless I somehow get superpowers overnight or turn into some, supervillain,
No, don't you know what it's going to end up being? It's going to be what's going to happen is it's going to be Tim Burton's version of Trekkies.
Okay.
So it'll be something to do with, nerdsters like us or people who've been in a Star Trek episode, people who used to work at Star Trek The Experience, people who used to shout in social media how much he ruined Dark Shadows.
I mean, Grant, I was going to say, I have the time in healthcare and the credential wise. I'm only one lab accident away from supervillain right about now. So we can go with that, but I'm sure Tim Burton will come up with something a little better than that. I'm hoping,
Would you like to see a Tim Burton Scarlet Witch movie?
That could be interesting. With his take on the dark sides of it, I think it might be. Unless, like Dark Shadows, he turns it into a freaking messed up comedy, But,
As long as he doesn't have Depp in it.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
nothing's wrong with Depp, but I don't need Depp. And the problem is if Burton were to have Depp and Wanda in Scarlet Witch, it wouldn't be Scarlet Witch anymore. It would be Johnny Depp and Scarlet Witch.
Or even worse, he'll play the Scarlet Witch.
No, you'll see it, and it'll be Scarlet Witch starring
Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Johnny Depp and Elizabeth Olsen. And then everybody. And guess what? It says Scarlet Witch starring Johnny Depp and Elizabeth Olsen, and the internet blows up. Johnny Depp's Mephisto.
That would be good. I think he could pull that off. I think he's a great actor. I love his stuff.
Oh yeah.
I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I loved it. Sleepy Hollow, loved it.
Especially with Burton. And that's the thing is he went, and I guess that's part of where Dark Shadows was. But I also think part of it was Tim Burton was a fan of Dark Shadows. He watched it when he was younger, but I think the problem is he perceived it differently than other people do.
I mean, there were three Dark Shadows movies before they did the series, and one of them didn't even have Barnabas Collins in it. One of them was The Witches, the first one, The House of Dark Shadows, and then they did the two with Barnabas Collins, and then they did the series. And there was so much in the series that he just completely left out of the movie and changed. And
Well, the reason Helena Bonham Carter was in all those movies with Depp because they were Tim Burton movies, and she was Burton's wife at the time.
I like her too. Even Sweeney Todd. I even liked Sweeney Todd.
Yeah. But the reason, like Val goes, it would be Johnny Depp and the girl he's always stars with, Helena Bonham Carter. But a big reason she was in those movies was because she was married to Tim Burton.
And if for some reason Tim Burton is actually watching this, love your stuff, love it all. Granted, you're the one making the millions of dollars for doing this, and I'm not. I'm just saying. That's just one guy, Give me Dark Shadows back, and we'll call it even. That's about all I'm going.
I love Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter. But back to Scarlet Witch. I mean, there we go. Did we just come up with a fan casting for Mephisto?
That would be nice. And yes, of course, Val puts in the comments, Rob really could be a villain. Yeah, I could be I'm that kind of guy, right? Santa Claus is watching you, by the way.
Mark Wahlberg should be whoever that is.
No.
And I like this thing.
Say what?
But no, and that was going back to Mephisto in WandaVision. I mean, we had the Fly show up, and that was how Mephisto, his first appearance in the comics was, or to Wanda in the comics, was a Fly, wasn't it? Didn't he first appear as a Fly? But overall, we had that build up. Obviously, they're going with Wanda being a Nexus, just like she is in the comics.
Yeah.
We had the Nexus commercial break.
Who's Evan Peters?
He's Pietro.
He's casted as Mephisto.
That is not that's a fan site.
It says Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a fan site. We could name our channel Hollywood.
Fine.
She's reading a fan blog where they say Evan Peters is Mephisto.
We start an internet thing right now. Let's get Johnny Depp as Mephisto. Let's
Johnny
get him.
Depp as Mephisto. Let's do it.
Let's put it out there now.
Now let's do it.
Because I think he can pull it off. He's got the crazy. He can pull it off.
Al Pacino's played the devil before.
Al Pacino.
Yeah. Overrated.
The only other person I could see is William Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe is Mephisto. I could see that, but he'll always be Green Goblin to me.
Yeah, he's got that crazy eyes to him too. He can pull it off, but
no.
Johnny Depp working again. Make Johnny Depp Mephisto. Hell with his ex-wife, whatever she was. We don't need her.
Yeah.
Although she did make a really good Mara. Sorry.
But at the same time, do you really think Disney will allow that? Probably not.
Doubt it.
He can't even come back for Pirates.
True.
But no. Again, just overall, we got White Vision back. Or we got Vision back. We got him as White Vision. So we've got that comic book story. But no, the Nexus. There was the Nexus commercial. Yeah. But did you catch the marquee at the movie theater?
It kept changing.
When it was all said and done and they went and got Monica.
I didn't catch the end of it.
The marquee in the movie theater, it's a bitter sadness, but what did it say? Something, Odenheim's Gate. Oh, come on. What was it? Oh, dang it. I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, the last episode had so much in it, and everything was going so quick.
Tannhauser Gate. It said Tannhauser Gate on it. And if anybody's ever watched Blade Runner, Tannhauser Gate is the speech. Anytime anybody talks about Tannhauser Gate, because I love Blade Runner. I love the sequel too. But the speech that Rutger Hauer's character does right before he dies.
Yeah.
Again, spoiler alert, but whatever we're talking about, if we bring up into the movies, anything, if you're like, oh no, I haven't seen that one, close your ears.
Close your ears.
Him being the main antagonist, when he dies, he does a monologue, and that monologue is now known as that. I had speaking points in my phone. Let me search that up real quick and see what that monologue is. Blade Runner, where's the monologue? Find it in here. Do search. Sorry, but they call it Tears of Rain as well. Here we go. Scripted. Here we go. Now, listen to this and think about Wanda's story in WandaVision. I've known adventures, seen places you people will never see. I've been off-world and back, frontiers. I've stood on the back deck of a blinker bound for the Plutician camps with sweat in my eyes, watching stars fight on the shoulder of Orion. I felt wind in my hair, riding test boats off black galaxies, and seen an attack fleet burn like a match and disappear. I've seen it, felt it. Scripted version, I believe, or no, where he says the scripted version was, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched C-beams glitter in the dark near Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. Time to die. It was one of those situations where right before he dies, he speaks about how he got to that journey. Sort of like giving him, even though he was a villain, it gave him a humanity.
Yeah.
And again, he was a Nexus droid.
Yeah, he was a replicant. Yeah.
A Nexus replicant. But Nexus, it's, again, these things are beautiful because they're not just tosses. It's not just, oh, let's just put we're making a movie that takes place in 1989, so let's put Batman on the marquee. No, there are reasons that these things are in there.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's a Nexus replicant and she's a Nexus character, which in the Marvel universe, for those of you who may not know, a Nexus character is a character that exists within the entire multiverse. Like she can bridge the gaps. She doesn't need different machines or anything. She is an entity that goes through. And there's a few others that are Nexuses as well. But the fact that they're showing that, that she can, again, bring about the end of the world, open up the multiverse. I those little things in there that kick it in. And the other situation that I find is on the same thing on the marquee under that. It said, put the fun into dysfunction, which is a saying that's been used numerous times. No. I think what that is a reference to is I think that's a reference to Wanda and Agatha's relationship. Because even though Agatha was more of an antagonist in the series when it came to a close,
she's Wanda's mother.
There was a friendship that built up.
I can see that.
And that's my take on that. My take on that Easter egg is that it was more of a, and again, and I think partly that might have to do with why Wanda made her the nosy neighbor, was not so much as saying, oh, you're going to be in pain and this and that. No, it's I'm gonna have you as the way I remember you. And I liked you when you were my friend, when we got along.
Did she hand select the people in the neighborhood?
I don't think she really hand selected them. I think it was just a matter of proximity.
I wonder what they're doing.
I just think there were so many Easter eggs in the whole series. If you didn't catch them all, I know they have. There's a thing on the internet, what Easter eggs did I miss, kind of thing. I forget what channel that's on, but that was a big thing too. I'm trying to watch what's going on and listen to the dialogue, and I'm missing the Easter egg in the background or this here, or like you said, the marquee I didn't quite catch because I was listening to the other stuff. But there were just so many of them in there. Even with even Kat Dennings' character, I think she had an Easter egg for something, and I forget what it was. But there was just so many of them, and you got to see what you're going to catch.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, exactly. Tons of them. And
I find it hard to believe that the characters in the neighborhood were just random.
You're good.
Were they already living there?
Yeah, it was a neighborhood. If you watched it, if you paid attention in episode 8, I believe, when it was giving you the backstory of Wanda and showed how she got to that point. How did WandaVision get created? Vision had bought a plot of land for them to build a house and live a life on in Westview.
Because when at the end when all the color went away and it went to the reality, everything was all run down and broken, and even the movie theater sign was torn down.
No, the movie theater sign wasn't torn down.
It was all run down.
It had more the sign of the local Times to it. It wasn't the greatest neighborhood, but it was something they were going to build up and make a home there.
Yeah, if you remember when Endgame started and it showed New York and it showed San Francisco, it showed those things. The place was not in the greatest shape.
How many people were still snapped out of existence then?
Yeah. So when she went to Westview, it was right after they won, right after Endgame.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, when they were trying to get into Westview, why didn't they call another Avenger to come help? Like, where's all the other Avengers?
Well, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier coming up to find out what that is. We know Tony's dead.
Like, ain't nobody got to call them?
Oh, how many times have you known for a government agency to call what they want to call?
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind at the beginning of Endgame, or not Endgame, Infinity War. At the beginning of Infinity War, when it started, the government. I mean, heck, the only Avenger that was there to fight on planet was War Machine. You know, everyone else was supposed to be arrested or already on house arrest. And I don't see the government being 100% okay. We're going to put our trust in all these people again, and it doesn't mean that nothing else was going on. You know, when
after Endgame, Captain America was an old man, and Tony was dead. Spider-Man was, doing his thing, and there was just
still being, Nick Fury was off world. Captain Marvel was off world.
She's always off world though, just about.
Hulk was injured.
Hulk only has one arm now.
Doctor Strange is probably doing his own thing. Well, they made it to where it's injured. They can fix that if they can ever get what is it, Universal or Universal Studios to allow them to make a Hulk movie. Maybe fix the Hulk for us.
Let's see if they can make a good one.
Yes, and Val made a good point. The head of S.W.O.R.D. wanted Vision for himself. He wanted the power. They didn't care anything about getting somebody else. It was, an FBI agent shows up, goes, there's something weird going on here. I'm going to call S.W.O.R.D. because there's something weird going on here, and that's S.W.O.R.D.'s basically the new S.H.I.E.L.D. S.W.O.R.D. shows up, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I ain't calling an Avenger because they're going to stop me from getting my goal.
Yeah, he was trying to get. They were trying to get the old Vision put back together and power him up.
You're gonna say they're racist because there's a white Vision.
No. No.
There was just so much they left open for future Marvel, projects. It was everything they left open.
Oh yeah, and like I said, when Falcon Winter Soldier shows up, we're gonna see what happens to them after the snap. Spider-Man, we got a movie to see it. Wanda, Vision, we've got that. I'm certain Black Panther 2 is gonna show what happens to them. What happened to them.
Yeah, someone said it was supposed to be his sister was supposed to take over. There's a lot of rumors flying around, so
there are a lot of rumors flying around. However, my biggest question with Black Panther is not who is going to be the Black Panther, who has been the Black Panther, who was the Black Panther for 5 years.
Did he blip?
Yes. T'Challa blipped. So I'm thinking it was.
Who was the one-armed guy?
I'm thinking it was. She played Michonne and.
His sister?
Huh? No, because his sister blipped too. And in the beginning of Endgame, it showed people who blipped, and his sister was one of them that blipped as well. His head of the guard, because when Black Widow was talking to the other Avengers at the time, basically, and they hinted to Namor, she was talking to. I always call her Michonne. I can't remember her name in Black Panther.
Something that's hard to pronounce.
But she was talking to her. So in my opinion, that would basically sort of make her the person who was running Wakanda at the time. And if she was running Wakanda, then she would be the new Black Panther. So that's where I'm coming into this. Sadly, we're at a point where we don't have him playing T'Challa.
I thought he was married.
Black Panther, no. Sadly, we don't have a point where he's playing T'Challa. And I'm perfectly okay. I know everyone's torn on recasting him, not recasting him. Okay? I'm okay with them not recasting him. Black Panther is a title, not a person. T'Challa's dad was the Black Panther at one point. His kids or whoever were going to be Black Panthers. T'Challa isn't the only Black Panther. And I'm okay if they don't recast him because it opens the door for two things. One, it opens the door for other people to take up that monocle, but it also allows Marvel to be able to bring in other versions of the characters without people throwing fits about it. You know, they don't have to wait 15 years or 10 years to recast Captain America. They don't have to wait 10 years to recast Spider-Man because actors grow out of their roles.
Yeah.
And
for Val, before you go, she doesn't understand the blip. Like the blip, that's when Thanos at Infinity Wars snapped his fingers and 50% of the world's population was gone. Yeah, 50% of the universe was gone. So they blipped away. It's like they were there, but the next thing they were gone. They blipped away.
Yes, the event with Thanos and Infinity War is called the Snap.
Yeah.
Because Hulk puts on the gauntlet and snaps them back. In Spider-Man Far From Home, they explain that they can't.
It was blipped. Yeah.
They call the event the blip.
It wasn't Spider-Man, right?
Spider-Man Far From Home, yes.
Yeah.
So the fact that T'Challa was blipped, Wakanda's not going to go without a Black Panther. They're going to have a Black Panther.
They don't have a shield anymore.
So to me, I don't know. I could see, and you would look at, and the reason I say that is because he was blipped, his sister was blipped. Well, who would be next in line in any style of storytelling like that?
Well, I know his mother was still alive. She didn't blip out.
But she wasn't going to be a Black Panther.
No. Well,
beat up the Black Panther to become the Black Panther?
No. You have to go through the ritual, and the only time you have to fight is if you're challenged.
Oh.
And if half of Wakanda was blipped out, the character, Michonne's character, she was in charge of the military.
Yeah, I could see that. She would be good.
She would be next in line at that point. T'Challa didn't have any kids. His little sister didn't have any kids. She would be next in line. So when they go, okay, what happened? She would be like, I'll do it. Is anybody really going to challenge her? They just lost half their people. They don't know exactly what to do. This is type stuff. Yeah. So it would make perfect sense that she would, and that would also explain why Black Widow's talking to her at the beginning of Endgame.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
no, I kind of like her role though as the DM.
But I mean, that's what, and she doesn't have to be the new Black Panther and Black Panther 2, but there's already, for everyone going, oh, he's the only Black Panther we can have right now. He's not. He hasn't been for 5 years in the MCU.
I mean, at the end of Infinity Wars,
doesn't mean
the end of Endgame, he was back.
Yeah, in Endgame, he came back, but when he was blipped with the Black Panther costume. So when he comes back, he's going to have the Black Panther costume because they came back from exactly where they were.
Right.
So it's not like he's like, oh, I'm back. Oh, I need to get the costume back. And because he didn't completely lose, his monocle wasn't taken from him, so he was still going to have the power. It was only when he was fighting Killmonger, they gave him something to take away his power.
Right.
So it's not like because there was a different Black Panther, he wouldn't be there. There could be 2 Black Panthers. It's you eat the flower and gain the knowledge and the powers and stuff from the way
the power. Yeah.
But
you have to watch Black Panther again.
I was just thinking the same thing.
So these other heroes were off doing their own thing, and we've got this situation where it can work out that with WandaVision, highly possible there wasn't anybody to come and save the day. Everybody wanted Fantastic Four to show up, or the X-Men to show up, or Pietro to show up. And it's like, I would love for Pietro to come back. I think, personally, I don't think they should have killed Pietro. I don't think Pietro should have been dead.
But then Wanda wouldn't be a psycho.
Wanda could still have been a psycho after Vision died. This is where my mentality goes with this. Obviously, they killed him because WandaVision shows, specifically states, oh, yes, Pietro died. But there's two situations with this. One, and this is where my fan theory was going. Sadly, it didn't pan out. One, Wanda lost it by losing Vision. But losing Vision, she didn't get closure. When Pietro died, she felt the pain. But she was able to go to Ultron and rip his mechanical heart out of his chest. Now, granted, he wasn't the final one to die. Vision killed the final one. But it was the main one.
Yeah.
So, that gave her somewhat of a closure. Well, when Vision died, she had the opportunity at one point to kill Thanos, didn't get to do it. She didn't get her revenge closure. Then she goes to get his body to get closure, and she wasn't able to do that. She wasn't able to get the closure, and it clicked it off. Where I was hoping that Pietro didn't die was comas are a thing. Comas exist. And Hawkeye made a point to get Pietro's body on the airship at the end of Age of Ultron. Made a point to take his body aboard. And yeah, it could be okay, he took his body because, the guy sacrificed himself for him. But Quicksilver is a speedster, and even in both universes, the speedsters do heal faster. They got a higher metabolism, they heal faster. So it is extremely possible Pietro could withstand the wounds he got if it wasn't, say, a shot through the heart. But it was enough to kill anybody, but take him down a point. And being a situation where he hasn't had his powers very long because, from when the Soul Stone or the Mind Stone experiments were done up to that point, because even Wanda wasn't full in her powers. All she was weird. She was able to do some mind control. That was about it. Well, it was a reference to Age of Ultron. Mariah Hill said that. Maria Hill, however you pronounce her name. So to me, I was like, Pietro could have been in a coma. And at that point, Pietro could still be alive, but in a coma. And that is why Wanda didn't really go off the deep end. But they also had Vision helped keep her from going off the deep end.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Then the whole thing, no Vision left. Seeing the house as the surprise for the two of them just kind of tipped her over the edge there, and that's what kind of blew it all out. So there was a lot to it.
No, Val, Agatha said she couldn't raise Pietro because Pietro was in Europe. Raise him from the dead because Pietro was in Europe.
Oh.
She couldn't get his body from Europe. But I was hoping that Quicksilver wasn't dead because, that character, all the characters belong in the MCU. And to lose one without getting a lot of good character development saddens me. But man, I'm so sad WandaVision's over. I absolutely loved the whole series.
Yeah.
The next series?
Yeah,
Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe, next week.
Yeah, now that we just have to wait for that, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then I believe Loki comes out in June. I sent you a list.
Is it going to be like 20-minute episodes again? That drove me bonkers.
Probably. Well, see, the thing is they're done like movies. Like, WandaVision is 2 movies.
It's like a 9-part miniseries.
Yeah.
Although I'm thinking Loki probably should have been a movie, not really a series.
Why?
And my thing with Loki is I'm seeing Loki as more of a throwaway. But what do you mean like a movie instead of a series?
I think they should have just did a movie for Loki. I don't know how they're going to do like 9-10 episodes with Loki. I mean, he's a good character and he's been a major point of a lot of the shows, but I have to say I like Tom Hiddleston, but
Will the Loki show take place after he's supposedly dead, or like?
If you remember in Endgame when they were going through the time to get the stones. Again, hopefully they touch base so people can stop arguing over it. But an alternate reality was created because Loki was able to get away with the Tesseract.
Oh, so
It's a different Loki. It's a Loki that's still it's an unredeemed Loki.
right. My whole favorite part of that whole movie in Endgame was Ant-Man and Captain America, but that's America's ass. I giggled, and then Captain America looking at himself unconscious, going, "That is America's ass." When he just kept walking. I got such a kick out of that. I couldn't help it.
Yeah,
they had to throw that in there.
Oh yeah. I'm excited. I can't find that link I sent her. I don't know why, but it was a full list. I think Loki comes out in June.
They have a lot of secondary. They have a lot of secondary characters coming out too that you really didn't see in the MCU. So,
yeah,
and I think it might be a little. In my opinion, it might be a little too much to throw a bunch of them out there without any preface, kind of thing, or mention.
Well, the big thing to look at is they have their long list of what their plan is.
Yeah,
but that's like a 3-year plan. That's not, hey, this is all coming at you this year. That's like a 3 to 4 year plan. I mean, they're working on Fantastic Four, but obviously it's going to be a while before we get Fantastic Four. We're looking at another year before we get Multiverse of Madness. We're looking at another year before we get Thor: Love and Thunder. At least another year before we get Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
And I will. The good thing they did do about it is they're not keeping it a secret of what they're releasing. They left a long-term plan out. Because my buddy said at the comic book store, as soon as they started announcing these titles, people were coming in also trying to research, the comic book sales went up on it too.
Oh yeah, that's a great business plan.
Yeah, right.
Release all this like, oh, we're going to do Secret Wars here in about 2 years. But it also allows them to do all these little Easter eggs for it,
Yeah.
The end of Spider-Man Far From Home having Nick Fury in space. The end of WandaVision going, hey, Nick sent me to get you. You're going up there. To have those Easter eggs, like everybody's going, oh, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And they're just like, we're doing Secret Wars. we're doing Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Might be a couple of years, but we're doing it. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, we're doing more space stuff. Oh yeah, we're going to do the Eternals. Yeah, you're getting a Marvel history type thing here. You're getting the Eternals.
Yep.
Awesome. Oh, is the multiverse real? Spider-Man Far From Home into the multiverse. Well, it may have not been in Spider-Man Far From Home, but we're going to do Multiverse of Madness. We're going to do No Way Home. We're going to, it's throwing that out there with all those little Easter eggs going with it. And that's one thing, again, another one I liked about it. And it's okay that they're moving away from the main characters that they had, We had 10 years. Well, yeah, we had 10 years, over 10 years of Iron Man. We had we had nearly 10 years of Captain America. We've had the Hulk somewhat. Thor is a character that I see more story to tell there. Iron Man had more story to tell, but that story's it's evolving and it's being taken over with another person. And again, that's the whole situation with the whole T'Challa thing is it doesn't have to be the same character. Like Iron Man left a huge hole for everybody. What is going on with the Mandarin and the 10 Rings? Where is that storyline? Why drop it off? And now we've got Shinzu coming out.
Yeah.
At some point. Like we've got that storyline is continuing. We're getting information back.
I wonder if they're going to do anything with Pepper Potts' Iron Man. The Iron, they did that in Endgame where he was making the special helmet for Mommy, and it was another Iron Man type helmet, and they had her in fighting in Endgame.
If they do, can they have it start out in a different movie where she fights someone, and then in the main movie, and that person comes out to be the villain? Well, you did this, and she looks at him and goes, "What? I was there? I don't remember that." Because Gwyneth Paltrow always goes, "I don't remember being in that movie."
Yeah, right.
Spider-Man. What? Spider-Man? I was in that movie. I was in.
Yeah, right.
And I can go a long time without seeing a Pepper Potts Iron Man. I would go forever without.
They could do like the comic books, and it's that other girl,
Iron Man.
They started making the other girl Iron Man.
Ironheart should come out. Yes, we're getting the new Hawkeye. Hawkeye, coming back. And the question is, it's called Hawkeye, but he's training someone else. And the last time we saw Hawkeye, he was Ronin. So is Hawkeye about the Avengers Hawkeye, or is Hawkeye about this new character that Ronin's training?
I think you just made about half the nerds in the world's head explode with that.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's just
I can hear a lot of people's heads just like rebooting all of a sudden.
What? Yeah, there you go. What if this new Hawkeye show isn't about Jeremy Renner? What if he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the show?
Oh God!
I'm just saying.
I know.
He wasn't Hawkeye the last time we saw him. He was Ronin.
Oh, not to get off topic though, but did you see that they leaked the Snyder cut of Justice League out early?
I saw that, and I'd already watched Tom and Jerry with the kids, so it wasn't playing Snyder cut when I went. I was like, "Oh, what?" And I went to watch it, and it was still Tom and Jerry. I'm like, "Well, you sons of guns."
Oh. I know. My son told me after it all happened, and I was like, "Oh!" I wanted to watch it so bad.
And because I had watched Tom and Jerry with the kids, I am so sad that I didn't get to see the leaked Snyder cut, and that all I got out of that was watching Tom and Jerry, because
I don't think anything Tom and Jerry. That's why I won't watch it, because it's not going to be real Tom and Jerry. I don't think. If I know the Tom and Jerry I grew up with, and I don't know if I should bother. I used to
imagine a movie about human characters and stuff going on with these human characters while the cartoon Tom and Jerry we grew up with are going through their antics. That's the movie.
I'm good.
It was like it wasn't even. It was called Tom and Jerry, but it wasn't like they weren't the main characters. They weren't. I'm sorry. They weren't the main characters of that movie.
Yeah,
the chick was. She was the main character of the movie. Like, really? It was her story. It was what she did. I'm sorry, Tom and Jerry, the movie on HBO Max. If it's your cup of tea, watch it. If it's not your cup of tea,
if you know Tom and Jerry for real, it sounds like you're not going to enjoy it.
The Smurfs movies were better.
Oh God.
The live-action Smurfs movies were better than the live-action Tom and Jerry movie.
All right, so we'll cross that off the list completely.
What?
It wasn't about them.
No, it wasn't. That was the messed up part. It was like, ugh. I would rather watch Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas before watching Tom and Jerry again.
Oh my God.
Ashley said she'd rather watch Star Wars than watch Tom and Jerry again. But she enjoys Star Wars. You mean Star Trek?
Yeah, not that.
Hey. Where's that naughty and nice list? Hold on.
Yes, now Marvel Eternals is November 5th. Thank you for finding that for us.
Okay. Our messages, there's no link to any.
And I shared you a link. That's messed up.
I think you're tripping. It's one of those conversations you have in your head alone.
Probably. I have a lot of those conversations I had in my head alone.
And hopefully, when you're watching this in the playback, you'll get, more content. We have more content coming out as well.
Yes.
Other than this, I know I did the unboxing part, and then we're gonna throw your part in there.
Yes, Rob put me an unboxing, and I'm gonna do an unboxing from the same company. I'm gonna edit it together. My plan is to have that up by the end of the week. I've got another unboxing I want to do. I know Rob's got some things in his pocket he's gonna do.
I've already started my ideas for the Mando build we were talking about. The funny Mando build.
Am I going to be able to afford this Mando build?
Oh my God, it's hysterical. Well, the one I'm doing, huh?
I was at Joann's. I haven't been there this week, but last week they had their cosplay foam on sale.
Yeah.
I wanted so badly to buy some, but I'm like, I ain't got the time to do this right now. I got to wait till Rob comes out with tutorial videos on how to do it so I can do it.
I got Warbler actually really cheap on Amazon to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm making I'm making my son Matthew's armor in this build.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have I'm going to show you how to do it the right way, but I have a lot of funny stuff to throw in there too with the painting and the heat gun and everything else we're going to do.
Maybe some Grogu splatter or something.
Everything. We're going to have it all. And I know Val is the Valerie Dunham Handmade with Heart website is doing her fandom collab with DP Addiction Adventures. Jen, April 1st starts their collab for their fandom diamond paintings. So there we got diamond paintings in again.
Some more diamond paintings.
Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, Dragons, Game of Thrones, whatever you call fandom. You
better stop working on the Harley Quinn.
One of my ideas I'm coming out with, and we just unloaded yesterday, so it'll be setting up this week, and I've also got some online, some stuff we're doing for another one for online. And once I have that set up, I'm hoping to be able to do, anytime I run through it, I want to do nerd time at the auction or auction finds or whatever, just showing you stuff that I run into doing this auction.
Yeah, I want to get to the thrift stores that I go to with her Star Wars wall and Star Trek and everything you can find around, that kind of thing. We do like Kermit the Frog used to do, man on the street kind of deal with that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, I do it to Crashly every once in a while. This weird finds, she loves playing the game Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
And one time it was for an online auction. I looked over and it was one of those fossils. It looked like the fossil you dig up in Animal Crossing and shows it wasn't purple and white. It was just all white. Right. So I took a picture of it and like this going, woohoo, I dug up a fossil.
You dug up a fossil. Yay.
Well, today I was packing up for an auction and these people were deep sea fish. They did some deep sea fishing and they had some large stuffed blue marlins, but they weren't on plaques. They just had them with a little hook on it to hang on the wall. So I took a picture. I'm going to pull it up because it's funny.
It's hilarious, man.
I've been playing the game, and all I got to say is that Blathers needs to wake up during the day when I'm bringing these stupid fossils in.
Yeah.
And apparently 3/4 of the fossils I'm keep bringing in, the ones we already have. I haven't really found too much new yet.
You will.
You will. It takes a while.
And he doesn't tell you when you have them all either, so you have to
Yeah. And I got some new island resident named Annalise that just loves to sit in my flowers for some reason.
We got her from me. She's the anteater.
Yeah.
So I sent her that.
Oh, geez.
And I said, woohoo, I caught a blue marlin.
That's great.
Find the fossil. That's the best one.
Because you ever catch a big fish like that.
That's a pure fish.
Everything I've been catching lately has been horse mackerels and squids, with the occasional football fish.
We don't get football fish yet.
Oh, let's see here.
The black one with the light that comes out the front of it.
Yeah, that one's crazy looking. I caught one of those on Jim's Island. Did we really send that many pictures back?
There it is.
That's funny.
So perfect.
That's funny.
It was like I dug up a fossil, and then I sent her this one. I was like, I found a shark.
Oh, jeez. In Target, they had the Animal Crossing plush figures. They had the one that sits in the office, the little girl dog one. They had Tommy and Tommy and Timmy, the two Nook boys?
Yeah.
They had like just a bunch of different characters from Animal Crossing in Target. Plush.
Oh yeah.
The owl?
They're pretty popular.
Yeah.
Crashly asked if they had Celeste the owl.
They just had a bunch. I didn't go through all of them, but there was just like 7 or 8 different characters in there.
Speaking of finding things at Target a while back, you know what I found at Target? And I never find these ever since the Target and Walmart out here, they went to vendors on all their on their pops, a lot of their collectibles.
Yeah.
They went to vendors. And once they went to vendors, it went to crap. It all went to hell. Because we all know there are good people out there, but we all know how a lot of that works.
Yeah.
Vendor gets the merchandise, and they get to put the merchandise on the shelf.
Right.
Ever since they went to vendors, I have not found a chase. I have not found a rare variant. If I did, if like there was a flocked variant, the box was tore up, and it was the same day that it was dropped, that it was put up.
Yeah.
The box was messed up. So it's like, yeah, we all know what our vendor's doing with it. Oh, wow, this is an expensive one. That one's not going out. Or they're putting
That's going on eBay. Yeah, that's going on eBay.
Buy it instantly.
Yep.
But they had the Diamond Edition Charmander.
Oh.
I was like, what? And it was decent prices for what it's going for. I think it was like, anywhere from $30 to $70, depending. It was only $8. So it's waiting to be posted on the shop when I put it together. When I get the shop up and going. Hit up, some other spots, found some other cool stuff, but I'd say my biggest auction find I had was the Star Wars cards, the 1977 Star Wars cards.
Yeah.
I so badly want to get some of the grails in it. I'm doing some looking around, try to get more of them, but I went through what I had and just rough guesstimate, and just a portion of it's worth over $1,000. And I got it cheap.
What kind of sports fans you got down there?
Huh?
What kind of sports fans you got down there where you are at the auction?
Cardinals, Chiefs, Blues. We're in Missouri. We're in Missouri, man.
Yeah, I know. I have a
Cardinals, Kansas City Chiefs.
Cards at auctions all the time.
St. Louis Blues.
I have a 2 of them. The miniature football helmets.
Yeah.
New York Jets helmets. I got one autographed by Joe Namath, and I got another one autographed by Wayne Trebet.
There you go. That wouldn't do anything down here, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If I thought Joe Namath might be something, but because he's Broadway Joe, but
yeah,
I haven't found too much at our Walmart lately. Like I haven't even found a standard Cara Dune figure. Not even the
they're not there.
Not even the. I knew the Black Edition ones weren't going to be there because they didn't finish making them.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
So I can't even find a Cara Dune Pop now. And Funko didn't even say anything about ending their character. Ending sending them out. So I don't know. I lost. I didn't jump on that, and part of the reason that's part of the reason why I saw those Batmobiles, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that Batarang. I'm like, okay.
The Batarang, I would have knocked an old lady over to get that Batarang, man, if I would have saw that.
I saw that Charmander. I'm like, okay, I'm not making that mistake again. Yeah. I've come across so many toys or action figures or memorabilia that I was like, man, I should get this. It's going to be worth something. You know? And I was just like, nope, I can't. I'm not going to. And then a week later, I didn't do it, and I kicked myself in the rear for it. So
every time I see something now, I jump on it. Only because the Tickle Me Elmos, the Christmas year that they were like thousands of dollars. My first wife and I bought one for a sorority sister of hers and gave it to her as a gift in October. So we had one and we gave it as a gift in October. Turns out in November it's the hottest selling toys and they're going for thousands of dollars. I wanted to kick her right in the ass.
That kind of toy doesn't really happen that much. But
every now and then there's a big toy, but it's not like that anymore.
No, and the other thing is those toys didn't hold their value. I mean, Cabbage Patch Kids. You know,
what they were going for?
The online auction. The online auction we did for February. There was a couple lots I wanted. One had an X-Men toy in it, tore up Star Wars Daughters of the Force or whatever it was a Rey, 12-inch figure, a Popeye action figure, and a Star Trek figure, a Klingon.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll get it if I can get it. It went for like $50, and the boxes weren't in the greatest shape. Every single one, I'm like, and it wasn't like a, popular Klingon. It was, a dime a dozen type.
Generic number 3,
Yeah, and the dang thing went for like $50. I'm like, are you kidding me? Get those for $7 on eBay. I looked up each and every one. Popeye was the one that was worth the most at like $15-20. I was like, no. But there was another lot that was 2 Spawn toys. And I was like, well, Spawn's one of my favorite comic book characters. So I was like, I'll go after it. And it hit $20. Yeah, it hit $20. And I was like, that's $10 a toy. Nah, I'm done. Wasn't gonna bid on it. Went 2 days without bidding on it. It was the day that it was the day the auction was ending. I was like, you know what? I kind of want those toys. Let me see if I can find them cheap online. Because I had some extra money on me. Looked online. What was that snort for?
You had a little extra money on you for toys? Your toy money?
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel now.
Business shopping, business expenses.
Yes, business expense.
I'll keep that in mind.
But so I looked it up and I couldn't find this dang toy for under $100.
Oh my God.
So I went max bid 30, got it for 25.
There you go.
Both of them for 20. I was like, haha, yes.
What was that?
I was like, haha, yes.
There's the one thrift store I go to, there's a Spawn wall, like a small section of the wall of Spawn characters. I'll have to take pictures of them and send them to you, see what you think.
No, what you need to do is you need to get Wanda to go over there, get Scarlet Witch to go over there, and do the whole little teleportation thing she did, a little I Dream of Genie type, like in that last episode, and just have that store pop up over here for like a day. Val wants to know if she gets business expenses.
Val's business expenses are filling up an entire closet down here, and Amazon, and although I do say my business expenses are probably very comparable.
Yes, we are.
I don't have Baby Yoda with me today, but
Yeah, my baby Yoda decided to go take a nap, I believe. Grogu,
Yeah.
where you at? No, I didn't bring them over. But no, and we're want to get together and do some videos that aren't lives, just me, you, talking about stuff. We can edit it, take out a lot of this little back and forth stuff. But I have fun doing this. I know you're probably getting tired. You got to work in the morning. I got to work in the morning.
Well, I go to work tomorrow, 2 in the afternoon. I have to be there by my time. 2. No, I like it. It's a weird shift. I'm not used to it. I'm used to the overnights.
Yeah.
I could be sleeping while the kids were in school, but now the kids are home. And when I try to sleep during the day when they're home, no. All right, just one more thing as they're in the door. Just one more thing. Okay. Great,
Seriously.
But yeah, I wanna do a few cosplay videos too, some costuming as well.
Yes.
So if anybody has any questions about cosplaying on a budget, I'm your guy, Mr. Krabs, when it comes to money for cosplaying. So
yes, and that's the thing.
If anybody has any suggestions about anything you want to hear about or get our opinion on or anything like that, just hit us up in the comments below.
And put in the chat. Let us know. Let us know. If you like us, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Give us a thumbs up, please. We got 3 thumbs up on this one.
4 now.
4 now. Yeah.
4 now. 4 whole thumbs up.
But
It's
yeah, I'm wanting to do some, we talked about toys and toy collecting, and another thing about toy collecting is with any type of collection, one of the best things that help with your collection out is to be able to allow your collection to fund your collection. So if you see a toy you like and it's worth money, buy 2.
Yeah.
1 for you, 1 to sell. And a mentality on that is if it's something you really like, because I'm a buy for me person.
Me too.
I'll buy retail. Actually, a lot of times I buy auction, but I'll run the auction up to retail. And sometimes I still don't get it. And I look at these people like, who are you selling this to? Like, seriously, who are you ripping off? Because I've got some stuff to sell too. Send them my way.
My big thing when I'm out there looking for toys is Dr. McCoy is always my favorite. Anything Dr. McCoy, Star Trek wise. I go with the other doctors too, but he's always my favorite. He was the one that, I used to watch, and that's what got me into my field and things like that. And I actually have his autograph downstairs, DeForest Kelly's autograph, on a plaque that I managed to collect all the doctors' autographs on from Star Trek. The only one I don't have is the new Discovery stuff ones yet. Like I don't have Hughes' autograph from Discovery and things like that.
There's Tim Burton's movie for you. It's basically Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but it's you collecting all the doctor's autographs. Boom.
I have to admit, you're
welcome, Tim.
When I got DeForest autographs, his DeForest Kelly's autograph, I did kind of abuse my power as one of his healthcare providers at the time when I was stationed out that way. I happened to be working in the place that he was at the time. I said, hey, big fan. After a few days when he was leaving, I didn't want to just be like, hey, sign this. I know you feel like crap, but But at the end, I asked if he would mind signing something for me, and he did. So I managed to get that done. But when it comes to my favorite people like that, I am not above using my position to get that autograph.
Yeah. No, I'm like that with certain things like Spawn or different comic book characters I like, stuff like that. I'll go retail, but a lot of times I like to go wholesale. But no, a big thing is if you're going to buy it, like, I've got some apps on my phone, eBay's, you check and see what it's sold for, but you check and see what it's going for, and you check and see how many are out there.
Yeah.
If you
usually when I see it at a store or convention and I can only get one, and I really struggle with it, I end up buying it, and then I kick myself in the butt the whole way home. But I know I'm not going to sell most of it.
Yeah. But if you look up a toy online and you see page after page after page after page of that toy for sale,
Yeah.
there's too many out there. They may be asking for a lot of money right now, but there's too many out there. The value is going to drop.
Yeah.
People who are looking for it they're going to get it, and they're going to get it at the cheapest price. So don't look and go, oh man, it's selling for $60 when 5 items down it's $3.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to buy it for. This person who's selling it for $60 is going to be sitting on it, and then they're going to drop the price and drop the price.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you look up what it's sold for, and say it's sold anywhere from $5 to $30, you know that it's worth $5.
Yeah.
You know that people are going to pay $5 for it. You know that it's worth $30 to some people. But just because you saw the lowest price point was $5, don't list it at $5.
No.
Look and see what it's selling for. If you look up that item and you're only getting, say, you do a search and you get 6, you find 6 of them, and all 6 are listed for $30 or $40, don't look and go, oh, it only sold for 5, so I'll list it for 5 and I'll definitely sell it. No, you're undercutting everyone else. That's why they're selling for 5, because people don't do the research and they just throw it out there for a price.
Right.
List it for the $30 or $40. You'll sell it for that. You'll be one on the higher end. And those are little. I'm wanting to start. I'm getting ready to open up a shop doing it. I'm going to start further into it. My wife's uncle has been selling toys for a few years, and he actually bought himself a car selling toys.
God.
The car was crapping out. He wanted a new car, went and bought himself a new car. Just boom. I'll sell some of these toys. I'll go get a new car.
Let us know when you do that, because I got a lot of stuff here. And Val's a big Barbie collector, so we got a lot of collectible Barbies as well down in that basement.
So I'll help you set up your own shop, man. I'm doing the research on it. I've been looking to see which one's the best one to do it. We've got our Etsy shop for the crafting. I've seen some stuff just sell on Etsy, but Crashly was right. We need to keep that directly for the crafting and go for a different one. And I want to do that. And in doing so, I'm wanting to do some tutorial videos on it. I'm wanting to help people out with it, help you guys out with it. And that's just another thing that we've got coming. We got a lot in the pipeline that we're going to do. Bear with us. You might just be getting some lives or some videos like this for a little bit. You might get some rough unboxings. They're not going to be too rough. I mean, we've got to practice. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
But we got a lot lined up, and we're just, we're hitting the ground. We're hitting the ground running. But that doesn't mean we're going to be at the correct pace right away. We got to pace ourselves. We got to find our pace. We got to find our stride, and we'll get there. And yeah. You got anything to say?
Just you said it all. We're going to get there. We're going to start. I got to figure out how to put this, promote our page a little more on Facebook. I got a lot of friends that are professional cosplayers on Facebook and things like that. And I want to, I'm liking all the pages they're sending. So I want to send ours out, see what they think about our page and getting it up there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to try and throw some fun content in there too. It's not all just going to be us back and forthing.
No. This is something we went live last week. We want to do, we're working on getting these videos up. We're going to get these videos out. Editing takes time. It just does.
Yeah.
And we're working on doing it. We're going to bring you the content. Keep in mind, we both have our jobs. We both have our kids. Being a nerd doesn't mean we live in a basement by ourselves with everything to do with nerdom.
That's true.
It means we've got lives, and sometimes all of our nerd stuff ends up in a bunch of Sam's Club totes sitting in the living room waiting to go out to the garage, waiting for someone to get off his butt and go make his man cave somewhere so we can pull it all back out.
Yeah. We are the non-stereotypical nerds where we have kids, we have the family, we have the jobs and the bills, and that's the way we do. But we're still nerds at heart. We still do our thing, and we'd like to hear what your thing is. Let us know, and we can go over stuff and
talk about all these stories. We're good. Golden.
It's the good stories we can tell. A lot of our nerd stories I can tell. Like I was in the Navy for a long time, and a lot of those stories I can't tell online. A lot of those stories start. Yeah, we were on Liberty in this bar, and it's all downhill from there.
If you guys,
if anybody from the USS Eisenhower is watching, past former, I am a former crewmate of the USS Eisenhower, and that was 89 to 91 H Division Medical. Give a shout out to the Eisenhower. If any of you guys are there, let me know in the comments. What division, what years? Just one more thing to throw out there.
Oh yeah, and I'm serious. We're wanting to do a lot. We're at a buffet and we're filling our plates overflowing just because it's the kind of people we are. And I mean, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get blogs out there. We're gonna do this. I mean, honestly, I would like to turn. I would like to turn this into something that turns into a family of nerds. First name basis. When I go to the comments, be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, man? How you been?" Like that personable type thing. Connections. I don't care if there's 5 of you, 5,000 of you, 5 million of you. I want to be able to just, yes, we want to communicate. Facebook, whatever. I mean,
that was the perfect example of what, because when I met you guys, it was through Crashly's page and the diamond painting community. And we just hit it off, and that's what it is. It's family. We all jump in for each other. We're all there for each other. We can talk. We could not talk for a few weeks and still pick up like, oh, I just saw you yesterday. And that's what I want this to be. I want us to have a nice family here. Did I make her cry again?
Yeah. We can say, hey, man, WandaVision's over. We need to get together and do a video on this. All right. Well, work this, work that, work this. All right. Can we do it now? Yeah, let's do it now. Schedule a live. Boom. And 3 hours later, we're still talking.
Yeah.
Get
enough nerds in the same room. That's what'll be happening.
Exactly. And we use a program that we can invite people in. So if there may be more things to come that might be a lot more fun. We got plans. We got plans.
Stay with us. We actually have an idea and it's coming along, but you got to please stick with us.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that 3 hours is decent timing.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, again for coming. Don't forget, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell so you can see the stuff when we start putting it out. Keep your eyes open for more things to come. Live long and prosper. This is the way.
This is the way. See you next time.
See you next time.
That was adorable.